All right, so important lesson on doing your preventative maintenance here. So there's a 2021 Land Rover, Range Rover, with a 2-speed transfer case. Got your transfer case control module. It also has a locking rear differential. So these are not just standard single speed transfer cases. These are dual speed with a pump and a locker. So the important lesson here is that the manufacturer does not give, at least anywhere that I've seen, a spec on when the transfer case fluid should be changed. So this vehicle has a little bit over 100,000 miles, and it's got a clunk. Whenever you turn, it's kind of under your feet. But again, the manufacturer does not, at least that I've seen, give a spec for this oil of when it should be changed. And this fluid has never been changed on this vehicle. So just look at that, guys. That is just black as can be. And I know you guys can't smell it, but it smells so bad, just like burned clutch material too. So there's a service bulletin out for this thing that says you need to service the fluid, drive it around, service it again, and then perform a software update. That helps not shear the fluid as quickly and not break down the fluid as quickly whenever it goes in and out of lock. It comes in and out of lock constantly while you drive, and it's Land Rover's infinitely variable drivetrain. So let's see what that new fluid looks like. And this is not Land Rover branded, but this is the proper TF-1 transfer case fluid that goes in this dual, not single speed transfer case. And just look at the difference in that fluid, guys. I mean, that's pretty distinct. I mean, this old fluid, at least there's no pieces of anything in it, but that is an extreme difference. So this thing holds like 1.6, 1.8, basically almost 2 quarts. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the drain plug back in, refill it, drive it around, and we'll bring you guys back and see if we can hear the clunking on the test drive. And then we're gonna come back after we drive it around, flush it again, do the software update, and then bring you guys back for that. All right, so it's topped off. You can just see the difference there in that clean fluid and that dirty fluid that we drained out. So as part of the service bulletin, and just as good practice for how dirty this one is, we're gonna go ahead and drive this thing for a little while. I'm gonna put one of our kids in it and let him drive it around for a while. So there's not any oil changes right now, and that way I don't have to drive this thing. And then we're gonna do a second flush, which is gonna be the same thing, and bring you guys back and let you see what that fluid looks like. And then once we get the second flush done, we're gonna program it, and I'll bring you guys back for that part of it too. Or update the programming, I guess. All right. All right, guys, I drove it like 20-25 miles or so and got it nice and hot, drove on the highway, drove through some nice curves and went in a couple neighborhoods, stopped at stop signs, you know, good hard left right turn, drove down low, locked, unlocked transfer case. So the real question is what is the fluid going to look like this time? Because we know what the new looks like, we know what the old looked like. Oof. Yeah, that is still really dark. Okay. How does it smell is the question. Well, not as immediate. Oh God. Not as much as of a immediate visceral reaction. Okay. So I tell you what, let me go get the other two again and we'll line all three up and see, kind of do like a good, better, best, or like really bad, kind of okay, something like that. Alright, that's it. Let me go get a light too and we'll shine through it. Alright, so we got what we just initially took out after the flush, brand new. So that one, can't even pass any light through it, like at all. This one, at least you can see into it, it gets some light through it. Yeah, at least a little bit through the top, but it's still really dark. But that one, you can't get anything through it, it's just a void. Oh man. And there's our, you know, obviously brand new. Well, I guess let's see if we have enough. We might do one more flush if we have enough, but service bulletin only says to do 2. There's, you know, at least it'll be much more lubricated than it was, and we may have them come back in, you know, 20,000 miles and do another one or something. Okay guys, so had a development. Sorry, I was gonna show you guys how to program this Land Rover. Sorry, I'm still pretty angry at this car. Or well, maybe not at the car, but more at myself. So just to give you guys a heads up, this battery charger power supply pilot crap, I've had issues with this thing before. There's nothing wrong with it, like it works like it's supposed to. It just does not work worth a crap for programming. So I guess in that sense, be careful. The one I always use is my ProLogix. It's the model, what is that? PL6100. So what I wound up running into was I tried to come in here and go into topics and reprogram the transfer case control module, the powertrain control module, and the ABS, because that's what the bulletin says to check. So, and there was actually an update for the powertrain control module and for the Sorry if my brain will work. It's I've had a bad time with this car. Yeah, there was an update for the powertrain control module and for the transfer case. The ABS was already at the current calibration. So what happened was, so whenever you go into topics, I'll just start over. So basically, you start off, you're logged in. You had to have an account, all that fun stuff. But you enter your VIN in, or the last 8. So in this case, enter the last 8 here. And then go to browse all. And then you can go up here to diagnostics. And then I have security access, but it's just easier if I just don't use it. I don't need it just to update stuff. I'm not doing anything with keys or anything like that. So then you go down and you pick, whatever module you want. Let's say let's just say it's the PCM, because this is where I got screwed. And I'm already at the current update, so it's not giving me the update option here because I'm already current. But besides just replace module, new module programming, there is an option below this. Let's see if I can find one. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to cause myself problems anymore, but like, let's say here we're in the gateway module, and here we're at the options under module programming, and there's replace module or update module because there's an update. So with topics being cloud-based, you're fairly limited on what you can do. It's basically you just press the button, it's going to do what it's going to do, and it's going to work or it's not. Or I guess the third option is what happened to me, where it had a critical failure. It just, everything grayed out for a second, and then it just had a big red error X001 message. And then I basically had a bricked PCM because it died in the middle of trying to update the PCM. There's a whole bunch of backdoor stuff I had to do. I had to use one of my aftermarket tools to do some other BS to it. Finally got it to talk enough to attempt to reprogram again, which took about 4 hours. And what I found out happened, because I ran into another error. It didn't even get that far, or as far as it did the first go around. It just gave me a big red error message. And one of the things that it checks is it has a little function that runs before that says, like, hey, make sure you don't disconnect anything, make sure everything's at the proper voltage, blah blah. And then it runs what it calls a battery power supply check or something like that. It's a little function that it runs basically right at the beginning of the program, and it's designed to where if the voltage isn't correct, it stops it. Well, evidently it doesn't do anything for load testing, and this piece of garbage caused the whole problem. This thing, it's been a while since I've looked at it. This is the sort of shop general use power supply. I hate this thing. I never use this thing. I've had it cause problems where I can't program Nissan stuff because it wants a specific voltage, and this puts out a fixed voltage and it doesn't like it. I've been worried I don't ever use it on Porsche because Porsche has service bolt-ins that say, like, you need 100 amps continuous power or you may run into weird stuff. I've never seen that on one of these. I've never seen this on a Land Rover. All the programming I've done, I've never had this happen. I've always used my ProLogics. I've never had a problem with this unit, ever. I love this thing. This thing is amazing. I had it on that truck there, trying to update and program an instrument cluster. So I had it outside because I have the leads that are long enough to get out there. And I tried to double up, and I tried to get that at the same time because that was going to take like 45 minutes. And so I tried to get this Land Rover going at the same time. And all because of that thing right there, I almost had to put in a brand new ECM because it had a couple of data blocks that it could not get past and program without all the extra stuff I had to do. And I could only do it once I figured out that this was the problem, because the OE tool still just threw a generic error until I put this one on. It wouldn't tell me what was wrong, it wouldn't do anything. It was only after I put on this ProLogix that I never ever use anything but this. I never have problems out of this. I will never ever use this thing again, because that was terrifying that I almost had to buy another key because they only have one key. And for Land Rover ECM, new ECM programming, not updates, but new ECM programming, you have to have 2 keys. It's a holdover from whenever they used to be part of Ford and they needed 2 keys. An ECM plus installing it plus another day of programming, because for Land Rover programming I could typically buy 1 day at a time, because 1 day of topics is like $250. So if you add all that up, the ECM is like $3,600 list. The keys are like $500 or $600 list. So let's just say it's $3,500 for the ECM and $500 for the key that I had to get. That's $4 grand, plus another $250, plus the time that it takes me to R&R this thing. That I can't charge the customer for it because this is just here to try to fix this issue. You know, they didn't do anything wrong. It's nothing. It didn't come in broken. It was fine. You know, maybe there would have been a conversation if I would have found out that it was just this, you know. But at the end of it, like, if you know, we didn't work something out, because it can happen, but I'm not going to charge them for that because it's not their fault. Yeah, maybe we work something out on the programming or something like that, but you know, maybe I update all the other modules or something like that, but I can't, you know, charge them for an ECM and a key when that's not their fault. All because of this battery charger. Never again. I know it says Snapon. I know, like, I'll admit, like, they have some nice hand tools. They're way overpriced in my opinion, which is fine. I have some Snap-on stuff, some hand tools that they're overpriced. I need them because they're better than some things that I have. But everybody can say what they want, but on electrical tools, and specifically like power supplies, maintainers, anything programming related, anything like that, I will never ever use another Snap-on product, because every time I've ever tried to use this on anything except for Ford or a GM, I've had nothing but problems. I have never had a problem out of that ProLogix. So I'm sorry that I didn't get to show you guys the whole process and going through and starting it and cycling the key and putting it in neutral, and you guys getting to hear it actually run through and see all the messages that it said about, like, teaching the clutches in and the transfer case again and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I was preoccupied, felt like I was, you know, fighting for my life a little bit, trying to save this thing. Just poor little ECM buddy that damn Snap-on tried to kill. Okay guys, so I haven't shown you the last flush that we did either. So which is the right order? Yeah, this is the right order. I don't have my light. So this is the original fluid. I mean, it's just a void. I mean, the light just eats it. or it just eats the light, I guess. And then you've got, so this is the original fluid that came out. This is the first flush. You know, drained this out, put this in, ran it for half an hour, drove it for like 30 minutes or so, went and did a bunch of circles, things like that to actuate it, put it in low, actuated it, drained this out. Then this was clean. We put this in. I can tell almost no difference between this flush and this flush. And really the only difference in it and the first one, like the original fluid, is just that it doesn't quite eat all the light from my flashlight and just have this inky black darkness. But none of them, like, you can't even tell other than the light coming out from around it. And at the very bottom, you can't tell that there's any light behind this. It's terrible. It still smells like burnt clutch. It's not as bad. It's not as immediately the little bit of brand new fluid. But yeah, I mean, this is, the fluid's been cycled out 3 times now. It's full of brand new, clean, well, it's not Land Rover, but it's OE fluid, that TF1. So I'm gonna drive it around a little bit more, make sure it's good, or as good as it can be, and we're gonna ship this thing. And then the customer is gonna drive it around for a while and see how it is. Hopefully between the update, I mean, it did change the calibration of it, it did a bunch of things, and it did reteach the clutches and do some other work. And I assume that the update is probably where it doesn't go between the speeds and, oh crap, go between the speeds and lock and unlock as often. So, you know, hopefully that helps, and hopefully it eliminates it. If this thing lives, then, you know, which hopefully it does, then, you know, we'll probably recommend in the next 10,000 they come back and flush it again, and just every 10-15,000 miles just keep flushing it, you know, until this crap's gone. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take to get rid of this stuff, because I mean, this thing only holds 1.5 quart ish, and you know, we run it till it's hot, drop the fluid, that's all we can do. You know, did the updates, did everything we can really try to do besides just servicing this thing. And yeah, I'll at some point try to give you guys an update if I hear anything back, and you know, on something like this. I'm not gonna say no news is good news, but hopefully they get some more life out of this thing. That transfer case is like $8,000 or something ridiculous, and like 6.5 hours to put in by the book, I think. So yeah, I would say this is definitely one of those, the hidden cost of Europeans. I mean, you've got, you know, new after a flush, or after 2 flushes really, after 1 flush, and then original. So I mean, really, other than like the difference between the original and these two, I can't tell any difference. And then obviously the new fluid. So yeah, guys, I mean, oof. So thank you guys for watching. I don't think I'm gonna have anything more after this, since, you know, it's either gonna be fixed or it's not. I'll put something in post if it just immediately shells itself out. But you know, other than that, thank you guys for watching.